Hi everyone, and welcome to Friday Fun. Today we're starting out here in the native plant garden, but we won't stay here the entire time. We'll definitely go into the preserve. We're going to go to several different places. Today we're talking about crows, and crows are easy to find because crows are pretty big and they're all black. Let me show you a picture of a crow. Here's a crow, and you can see he's actually looks a little shiny blue, but that's just the reflection from the sun because his feathers are very shiny. You can see he has a black beak, a black eye, black feathers, and black feet. He's all black. And the other way we can find crows is they can be really kind of noisy. And usually when you find a crow, you don't find one or two, you usually find more. And they hang together and they work together as a team. They're also really, really smart. They found that crows can use tools, just like a few other animals and people too. They might grab a stick and bend it just a certain way. Oops, I broke it. Without breaking it, bend it just a certain way to poke it into a little hole to maybe get a little grub or a little insect out of that hole, something to eat. While we're talking about things that they eat, these guys are not picky. They'll eat pretty much anything that has some calories. And sometimes they can be a nuisance or pestersome. They can be bothersome because they get into the garbage. And if the garbage is not closed properly, they might pull stuff out and unwrap stuff, and especially like at the park or at a school where there's like a leftover bag and it's filled with maybe there's some few extra chips or maybe there's a little bit of some other half of a sandwich. They'll tear the thing apart and get to the bits and bits of food. They don't have a great sense of smell, but they have excellent eyesight and they're really, really smart. So they'll see that those picnickers wrap up that extra stuff and put it in the trash, and they'll go later and pull it out. And usually, as a team, they'll tear it apart. And the funny thing is, once someone's got the food, then they'll all chase that guy and try to steal it from him. Even though they work together as a team, then they're still competitors at the same time. So today we're going to have a couple of stories. Instead of a book today, we're going to do some puppet stories and some tales about how smart crows are. Wow, what a night. It has been so windy and I haven't been able to find any food. We foxes, we use our noses, our sense of smell to find food. We have such a good sense and we can smell it from a long way away and get right to it and get something good to eat. But when the wind is blowing so hard, we can't figure out where the smells are coming from. And I didn't get any dinner and I'm hungry. And look, the sun is already out. We foxes like to hunt and find food at night. Even though we have good night vision, we still need our sense of smell, and in the wind, I didn't get any dinner. Usually at this time when the sun comes out, I'm all curled up, tucked under a bush somewhere, getting a nap. But my tummy is grumbling, and I'm so hungry. What's that? I smell some cheese. Oh, look up there. There's a crow. And the crow has a piece of cheese in his mouth. Oh my gosh. We foxes are very, very smart. I'm going to have to figure out how I'm going to get that from him. Oh, I have a plan. Hello, Crow. Oh, Crow, you are so beautiful. You think so? Oh, yes. Your beautiful shiny feathers. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. Really? Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm just so happy to see you. Such a sight for sore eyes. I've had such a rough night. Really? Oh, Crow. And you know what? I've heard that you have a beautiful singing voice to match your beautiful feathers. You think so? Oh, yes, this is what I've heard. Well, we crows, we kind of have a loud, scratchy voice. Oh, no, I've heard it's absolutely beautiful. Really? Wow. Well, Crow, would you do me a favor? Would you sing for me? And that would help soothe me so that I can curl up and go to sleep even with my empty stomach? I don't know. Oh, but you should. It would be so wonderful. Please, please. Well, if you insist, I'll give it a try. Here we go. Ah! I'll have to fly away now. He's going to get the cheese. Hi, everyone. We've moved to the other side of the native plant garden. And sitting, giving me all this lovely shade, are the toyan bushes. And look at these beautiful red berries. We also call this plant the Christmas berry because this time through the holidays, all the berries are red and it's beautiful like a little Christmas decoration in the garden. I wanted to introduce to you a friend of mine. This is Carlos the Crow. And Carlos had a very thirsty night. How are you doing, Carlos? Oh, I'm so thirsty. It was so windy last night and dry, and I really, really, really want something to drink. But the preserve is dry right now and difficult to find a drink. However, when I was flying over the nature center, I spotted this little pitcher of water. It looks like someone must have left it. Maybe they were here and they had some water for their dog, or maybe they were drinking it and they just forgot it. But that's good luck for me, so I'm going to fly down there and get myself a drink. So thirsty. Oh, I'm so thirsty and I can't reach the water. Oh no. Oh, I just can't make it. Now we crows are so smart. I know I can figure this out. If I knock it over, then the water will just spread everywhere and I really won't get much of a drink. So I don't think I should do that. But I'm looking around trying to figure out how can I get to that water? How can I make the water level get higher? Well, I do see some rocks around on the ground. Maybe if I pick up the rocks and add them, then the water will get higher. If I can get it high enough, I can get a drink. I think I'll try. I'll take this big white one to start with. Let's see if the water can go higher when I drop it in. Maybe a little bit. Can I reach it? Oh, I'm so thirsty and I can't reach it. Let me try again. Whoops. I think it's getting higher. Oh, I still can't reach it. I am so thirsty. Let me try another one. See if that water's getting higher. Oh, I still can't reach it. Oh, I'm going to get there. There's enough rocks. I'm going to get my drink. I am so thirsty. I am not giving up. Almost. Oh, it's getting close. I think I'll take two in one mouthful. I am so thirsty. Well, maybe I can't. Maybe just one more. Almost. Try another one. Oh, so close. Another one. Not yet. Maybe this will be the one. Oh, almost. Let's try this one. Almost. Oh, look, I got two at the same time. This'll do it. Oh, I wish I had a longer tongue. I could barely almost reach it. There's still some more rocks. Not going to give up. Two more. Oh, so close. I think this might just do it. Oh, I hope so. Oh, yes, I can get a drink. Hooray, hooray. So thirsty. One more. Oh. Oh. What a lovely drink of water. Aren't crows smart? Hi, we're In the inside of the Nature Center, the atrium is right behind me, and we're going to do an experiment. We're going to see if the crow is really that smart, and if he did get that drink of water by dropping those stones. And we're going to do it so you can really see that it's happening. I have a pitcher with the water right here, and we put a little mark right at where the water level is. Let me make the water move. Hopefully you can see that water level. Can you see it move? So that top of that pink line is how high the water is. Now we're going to put some rocks in, just like the crow did, and we're going to see if that water can go up above the pink line. Did it go up? Oh, just a little bit. Let's try again. Look at that. It's really going up, isn't it? Let's keep trying. We are moving water out of the area the rock is. We call it displacement. It's taking the place of where the water was, so the water goes up. Try some more. That water is really going up. And you can see how eventually the crow was able to get a drink. Let's see. Oops, that was a good one. Look at how high that water is getting. It's really moving up. Look at that. It is just as high as it here. Now it's again twice that. A couple more rocks. That water is way up to here. There's still some water all the way through, but the top of the water is now way up here. Miss Susan can look in the top and you can see the rocks. That's how the crow did it. He did it through water displacement. You could try this at home. Maybe when you're in your own bath. Things that float don't really displace very much water, but things that sink do. Just like your body. When you get into the bath, you can watch the water will go up. Hi again. We have walked into the exhibit hall, the little museum that's inside the Nature Center. And I wanted to show you some birds that are different than crows, and especially one, pretty much the crow's arch enemy. So if you look in the case, you can see an owl. This is a barn owl, and this is bigger than a crow, and it looks much different than a crow. Look at those big feet. Now, if a barn owl happened to know where a crow's nest was located, a barn owl at night would not hesitate to take a chick if he could get one. And then these over here are falcons. These are called kestrels, and they're smaller than crows. These guys and crows don't seem to really notice one another too much. But sometimes you'll hear a bunch of crows up in the sky. And there'll be one of the big red-tailed hawks and 2 or 3 or 4 crows trying to attack him. We call it, they're trying to mob him. And the crows are trying to mob the red-tailed hawk because they don't want the red-tailed hawk anywhere near their nest, because the red-tailed hawk will definitely eat their chicks. But on the other hand, the red-tailed hawk doesn't want the crows anywhere near their nest because the crows will steal their chicks too. They are not friends. They are enemies. So sometimes if you hear, ah, 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 and you look up, you might see some crows, and you might see one red-tailed hawk soaring, and they're just bothering it. Now with those very big, strong talons, it could turn around and grab the crow. But usually the crow is fast enough to get out of the way. And when we look at these 2 red-tailed hawks, this one is an adult, a grown-up, and this one is still like a teenager, and the coloring is a little bit different. It takes a number of years before they're an adult. But red-tailed hawks soar in the sky, and if a crow sees one, and especially if it's anywhere near their nest, they will mob it, which means they'll fly after it, make a lot of noise, and try to peck it. So the red-tailed hawk and the crow are enemies. Hi, everyone. We have walked out into the preserve. Now, we came down the main path and turned right before the sheds, and we're down in the middle road. So the sheds are off in that direction, and then we're walking through nice and shady area. And if we follow this pathway, we'll end up at the Bouncy Bridge and over at the other side of the preserve. But I stopped right here for a very good reason. Because today we're talking about crows and I wanted to show you a crow nest. Now, there's nobody living in it right now because they've already hatched and gone away from middle of the summer. But maybe they'll come back and use it again next time. Now, Miss Susan's going to look up the tree and we're going to see there's a nest way up high. She's going to bring it into closer view. She's going to zoom in. Can you see the nest? All right, good job. So I couldn't find any crows when I walked out on the preserve today. It doesn't mean somebody won't fly in. We're still looking. But I did want to show you the nest. And I do want to head over toward the Bouncy Bridge. Let's take a little walk. So here we are looking down the path, and it's really, really pretty. It really wants me to follow it. Let's go have a look. Let's see if we can get all the way to the Bouncy Bridge. So looking up ahead of us, we have the willow trees, and they're losing their leaves. And if you look on the ground, there's a lot of willow leaves that have fallen. And they're crunchy. And as we continue, you can see we're going downhill. And as we go downhill, that's where we would find more water. It would be deeper, right? And if we go this way, you can see that there's a bit of area here that will fill up with water. And when it's filled with water, what we do sometimes is we have an extra log here, and we can walk across the log so that we don't step in the water. But it looks like our log is starting to rot, starting to decompose. Remember, we talked about decomposing. So we go across our log, back up to a little bit higher ground, and then maybe the water is not quite here, but as we look out through here, we'll be able to see plenty of water and the meadow behind it. Let's get a better look. Let's walk a little farther. When I'm in the preserve, I'm always looking up. I'm looking for birds. I'm listening for animals. And I'm not seeing any crows today. We were hoping there'd be some, but sometimes if there was one probably making a lot of noise, we'd probably be able to find it. Here we are rounding the corner on the meadow, and this was all filled with water. And once the water dried up, then the grasses and other small plants started to grow. And we can see on this side the roots of the willow tree that'll be underwater once again when the water comes back. In fact, when the water comes, these longer roots will actually, oops, I broke them. They actually float up on the top of the surface of the water so they get some air. And if we look over here, we can see where they've trimmed up some of the tules. And the tules are the plants that grow in the water, and they're long and tall. And this area was filled with tules, and they cut it down low. But this area, they left some. They want it to be like a big pond so that the ducks and geese and everyone can swim around in the water. The tules are these tall reeds. And these are the seeds on the end. The tules were really important to the Native American Indians. They used them for many things, like making mats to sleep on, making roofs for their houses, and they even made baby dolls out of them. That was very cute. Let's keep going. Let's find the Bouncy Bridge. I see someone in the sky. Who is it? Who is it? Is it a crow? It is a crow. Miss Susan, did you get him? Way up there. He flew off. Maybe we'll see him in a minute. Where there's one crow, there's usually another. I'll keep my eyes up, looking for a big black bird. Where are all your crow buddies? I only saw one. Look, we made it. We found the Bouncy Bridge. If you come with your family, you can come while the water is gone and jump on the Bouncy Bridge. The preserve is open on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday now from 10 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. And it's free. You just check in at the front gate and you get to walk through the preserve. And you don't even have to stay on the path right now because there's no water. We don't want to trample the plants, but we can walk everywhere the water has been because there's no water there right now. So I hope you can bring your family to the marsh. It's still beautiful, it's still wonderful, smells terrific, and feels great. See you next time.